Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and fortunately I didn't wake up early enough, and now I'm probably going to do this in the heat, but you know what, I like doing this series, and I like doing it alone, and my mom is here, so yeah. It's one thing when my brother is there because, like, he doesn't really do much. But, anyways, I'm gonna stop yapping before it gets totally hot out here and I decide to, and I decide to quit. So we're reading chapter Genesis 24 to Genesis. What? Oh, I'm sorry. Genesis 22 to Genesis. Okay, so when you flip the page right here, it says 24 again. Is that like an error? I don't know. Dang, not now. Jeez. My friend sent me a snap. Alright, well, I guess I better start reading. Because that was where they had sworn, though, after making the convent at the Bishop left with Pinsel at the commander of his army. They returned to home, to the land of Pils. Then Abraham planted a tamarisk tree at Beersheba, and there he worked. There he worshipped the Lord, eternal God, and Abraham lived as a foreigner at Shay'sjourney country for a long time. Abraham's faith tested. Sometime later, God tested Abraham's faith. Abraham, God called. Yes, he replied, here I am, whom loves you so much, and go to the land of Moriah, and go sacrifice him as a burnt offering on one of the mountains which I will show you. The next morning, Abraham got up early, and he saddled his donkey, and took two of his servants with him, along with his son Isaac, servants with him, along with his son Isaac. Then he chopped wood for a fire burnt offering set out for the Then he chopped wood for a burnt offering set out for the place God had told him about. On the third day of their journey, Abraham looked up and saw the place in the distance. Stay here with the donkey, Abraham. Distance. Stay here. Oh, Abraham told the servants, the boy, I will travel a little further, then we'll worship there, and then we'll come right back. So Abraham placed the wood offering Isaac's shoulders while self carried the fire and knife together. Two of them walked together. Isaac turned to Abraham and said, Father? Yes, my son, Abraham replied. We have fire and wood, the boy said. But where is the sheep for the burnt offering? God will provide a sheep for the burnt offering, my son, Abraham answered. And they both walked on together. When they arrived at the palace where God had told him to go, Abraham built an altar, and had told him to go to Abraham's built an altar and arranged. I realized I didn't go things back, but it's okay. I just have to go now. Arranged the wood on it. Then he tied his son Isaac and laid on him on the altar on top of the wood. And Abraham picked up a knife and killed his son as a sacrifice. At that moment, an angel of the Lord called to him from heaven, Abraham, Abraham. Yes, Abraham replied, here I am. Don't lay a hand on the boy. The angel said, do not hurt him in any way, for now I know you truly fear God. You have not withheld from me and even your son, your only son. And Abraham looked up and saw a ram caught by its horns in the thickest. So he took a ram and sacrificed as a burnt offering, placed his son. Abraham named the place Yahweh, which means the Lord will provide. To this day, people still use that name as a proverb. On a mountain, the Lord will call it of the Lord it will provide. Then the angel of the Lord called again to Abraham from heaven. This is what the word says. because you obeyed me and not withheld even your son, your only son. I swear by my own name that I will certainly bless you. I will multiply your descendants beyond the number, like the stars in the sky, sand of the seashore, and the sand on the seashore. Your descendants will conquer the cities of enemies, and though your descendants of all nations, earth be blessed, all because you obeyed me. And then they returned to the servants and traveled back to Beersheba, where Abraham continued to live. Soon after, Abraham heard that Milcah, his brother, Nahor's wife, has born Nahor's 8 sons. The oldest was Uz, the ancestor of Armenes, Penzed, Hazo, Padash, Thalath, Bethuel became the father of Rebekah. In addition to these 8 sons from Micah, Anger, and 4 other children from Kupchipshu, Reu, Mal. Their names were Tebah, Raham, Tahash, and Makkah. The burial of Sarah. When Sarah was 127 years old, she died at Kibbutz, now it's called Hebron, in the land of Canaan. There Abraham mourned and swept for her. Then leaving her body, he said to Hittite elders, "Here I am, a stranger and a foreigner among you. Please sell me a piece of land so I can give my wife a proper burial." The Hittites replied to Abraham, Listen, my lord, you are an honored prince among us. Choose the finest of our twins and bury her. There's no one here who will refuse to pay this way." Then Abraham said, "Bow low before Hades, and said, Since you are willing to help me this way, and be so kind to ask Ephron's son down in this way, be so kind to ask Ephron's son of Zara to let me buy this cave at Machpelah, down at the end of the field. I will pay full price of Christus and witness, so I will have permanent burial for my family." Ephron was sitting there amongst others, and he answered Abraham as the other listened, and Abraham as the others listened, speaking publicly before the Hittites of Abraham, "Please listen to me. I will give you field in the cave in my presence." Abraham again bowed low before them, citizens of the land, and replied to Abraham, as everyone listened, "No, listen to me. I will buy it from you. Let me pay full price for the field, so I can bury dead there." Abraham answered Abraham, "My lord, please listen to me. The land is worth 400 pieces of silver. What is that between friends? Go ahead and bury your dead." So Abraham agreed to Abraham's price and paid the amount of he suggested. 400 pieces of silver, weighted according to the market standards. The Hittite elders witnessed the transaction. So Abraham bought a plot of land belonging to Abraham in Machpelah, near the Murray. This included the field itself. The cave was in it, and surrounding trees. It was transferred to Abraham and his permanent possession. Presents Hittite elders, the city gate, and Abraham built his wife Sarah in the cave, Machpelah near Murray, also named Hebron, called Hebron. So the field in the cave transferred from Hittite to Abraham, used as a permanent burial place. A wife for Isaac. Abraham was now a very old man. The Lord blessed him in every way. One day Abraham said to his oldest servant, the man in charge of his household, "Take an oath putting in your hands under my thigh. I swear by the Lord of God, the heaven and the earth, that you will not allow my son to go marry one of these local Canaan women. Go instead my homeland relatives and go find a wife for my son Isaac." The servant asked, "But what if I can't find a young woman who is willing to travel so far from home? Should I take Isaac there to among your relatives in the land you came from?" "No," Abraham responded. "Be careful. Never take my son there. For the Lord of God of heaven who took me from my father's house in native land, solemnly promised to give this land to my descendants. He will send his angel ahead of you, he will see that you find a wife there for my son if he is unwilling to come back." unwilling to come back with you, then you are free from this oath of mine. There's no premises. Are you taking my son there? So the servant took an oath, putting it hand under the thigh of his master. Abraham swore to follow Abraham's instructions. Then he loaded 10 Abraham's camels with kind, expensive gifts from his with his master. Then he traveled to a distance. Nation. Then he went to town where Abraham, brother Necker, has settled. He made the camels kneel beside a well just outside the town. It was evening, and the women were coming out to draw water. Oh, my Lord, my master, Abraham, he prayed, please give me success today, and show unfailing love to my master Abraham. See, I am standing beside the spring, and the young woman, the spring and the young woman out of town are coming to draw water. Please request. This is my request. I will ask one of them, please give me a drink from your jug. If she says yes, have a drink. I will water your camels too. Let her be one you selected as Isaac's wife. And this is how you know that you've shown unfailing love to be my master. Before finished praying, he saw a young woman named Rebecca coming out with her water jug on her shoulder. She was the daughter of Bethuel, who was the son of Abraham's brother, Anchor, and old enough to be Rebecca. Rebecca was a beautiful, old enough to be married, but she was a virgin. She went down to the spring and filled her jug and came up. The spring filled her jug and came up again, running over to the servant, said, please give me a little drink of water from your jug. Yes, my lord, she answered. Have a drink. And she quickly lowered the jug her shoulder and gave him a drink. When she had given him a drink, she said, I will draw water for your camels too. Until they had enough water to drink, she quickly emptied her jug watering trough and ran to the well to draw water for the camels. The servant watched her in silence, wondering whether the Lord had given him success for his mission. At last, when the camels finished drinking, he took out a golden ring for her nose and 2 large golden bracelets for his wrist. Whose daughter are you? He asked. Please tell me, would your father have any room to put this? I am the father of Bethuel. She replied. My grandparents are Naker and Bel. Yes, I have plenty of straws to feed for the camels, and we have room for guests. The man bowed low and worshipped the Lord. Praise the Lord. My master Abraham said, the Lord has shown unfailing love and faithfulness to my master. He has led straight to my master's relatives. The young woman ran home to tell her family everything that just happened. Now he ran to meet the man at spring. He's seen the nose ring and bracelets on the sister's wrists, and has seen Rebecca tell the man what he said. So he rushed out to the spring, where the man was still standing besides the camel. Laban said to him, "Come stay with us. You are who blessed us, Lord. Why are you just standing here outside of town, all ready for you who prepare the camels?" So the man went home with Laban, and Laban unloaded the camels, gave him straw for their bedding, and fed them, provided water for their feet. Then food was served. But Abraham's servants said, "I don't want to eat until I have told. Why have I come?" All right, and said, "Tell us. I am Abraham's servant." He explained, and the Lord has gratefully blessed my master, and he has become a wealthy man. The Lord is giving him a flock of sheep and goats, herd of cattle, of a fortunate server, gold of many male and female servants, and camels and donkeys. When Sarah, my master's wife, was very old, she gave birth to my master's son, and master gave him everything he owns. And master made me take an oath and said, "Do not allow my son to marry one of these local Canadian women, and go marry one of my father's houses to my relatives and find a wife for my son." But I said, "Master, what if I can't find a woman who's willing to go back with me?" He responded, "The Lord, whose presence I have lived, will send an angel with you and must find a wife for my son. Among my relatives or my father's family, I will fulfill an obligation. But if you let her go. If you go free my oath." So today I came, prayed with this prayer, "Oh Lord, my master, Abraham, please give me success in this mission." See, I'm standing here beside spring. This young spring, this is my request. When a young woman draws water, I will say to her, please give me a drink of water from your jug. She will say yes, have a drink. If she says yes, have a drink, I will draw water from your grandma's too. What? Why one of these selected your wife? My son too. Before I finish spraying my heart, Rebecca with a water jug. On her shoulders. She went down to spraying, drew water when I said, please give me a drink. She lowered her jug and said yes, have a drink. With my camels too. She drank water, then I asked, whose daughter are you? She replied, I'm the daughter of Beth Eagle. My grandparents make her, and so I put the ring on her nose and bracelets on her wrist. Then I bowed low and worshiped Lord and praised Lord and God my master, Abraham, because he had led me straight to my master's knees and son's wife. So tell me, will you won't show me unfailing love and faithfulness to my master? Please tell me yes or no. Then I don't know what to do next. Then and nothing will reply. Lord's obviously brought you here. There is nothing we can say. Miss Rebecca, take her and go. Yes, be her wife and your master's word. So as directed, when Abraham's servant heard an answer, bowed down to the ground, brought out several gold jewelry and clothing and presents them to Rebecca, expensive brother and mother. Then they ate their meal. Servant stayed with them overnight, but early next morning, Abraham's servant said, send me back to my master, but we want Rebecca to stay with us at least 10 days. Her brother and mother said, then she can go. But he said, don't delay me. The Lord made my mission successful, now sent me back to return my master. Well, they said, we can call Rebecca and ask her what she thinks. So they called Rebecca. Are you willing to go with this man? She asked. She replied, yes, I will go. So then they said goodbye and sent her away with Abraham and his men with a childhood nurse who went along with her. They gave the nurse, they went along with her and gave her the blessing she partook. My throat. Our sister, you may become the mother of many millions. May your descendants be strong, and the conqueror of cities be at peace. And Rebecca and her servant girls mounted camels, followed the man of Abraham's servant, took Rebecca and went his way. Meanwhile, Isaac, whose home was in Negev, had returned from Beer Loud Row. One evening he took a meditating in the fields. He looked up and saw Isaac. She quickly dismounted from her camel. Who is that man walking through the fields to meet us? She said. And he replied, Is that my master? So Rebecca covered her face and fell, and the servant told Isaac about everything he's done. And Isaac brought Rebecca back to his mother, Sarah's tent, and he became his wife. He loved deeply, special comfort after his death of his mother. If this video, I'm pretty sure I'm still on Genesis 24. But I'm just gonna say that's the end because it's just like really long, and yeah. So I'm ending the video there. Bye. Just an FYI, if it wasn't for me speeding up the video would have been 33 minutes long. So you need to thank me for that. But yeah, we're just gonna start off where I start. We're just gonna start off where I left with tomorrow. But it was the end of that verse anyways, I'm pretty sure. But anyways, yeah.